welcome back to Coffee and Chaos. I'm Alina, your host, and today we have a special, what would you call it, Tony?
Special guest, like it's just someone that never had on here before.
Yeah, we're doing something special. And Solomon, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So this is kind of close to my heart because of my daughter, and I know I talk about my son a lot on here, and mainly because my son lives at home and my daughter's married and lives her own life. I get on her nerves. But my daughter's married to a woman, and I am very protective of her. So the two people that we've brought on are a beautiful couple that I've recently been able to watch on TikTok. And actually, we've talked, and just to get to know the story is so amazing. But here's my TikTok guys. Hi, Ruben. Hi, Hedda.
Hi. Hi.
How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Quick question. How hot is it in Arizona right now?
Today was 111. Yeah.
Oh, Lord Jesus. It was like 80 over here, and I wanted to cry.
It was 111 and overcast over here.
Oh my God, the humidity probably.
Oh, no. Before we start, the two of you, I inboxed you guys on TikTok, and we started a beautiful relationship, and we're going to be friends forever. But you guys have a daughter.
Yes.
You guys have 6 fur babies, and just one passed away recently.
Our condolences.
Yes.
Definitely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And I know it was really hard, and people that aren't dog people don't get it, or animal people, like they become part of your family. Like I know my
They
two
really
little
do.
ones are a huge part of our family. So now you guys still have 5?
Yeah,
Are
we
you
still
guys
have
gonna-
5.
But you guys are looking to get one more again, right? Because I remember seeing on
I
live.
do. Not right now. Not right now. I want one.
Ruben said
Ruben's gonna
no.
walk into the door. He's gonna see one new fur baby.
No.
Surprise!
Like, what?
He's like, he won't notice.
Yeah, that part right there. It's just going to blend in with the rest of them.
How long have you two been together?
It'll be 15 years in August.
Wow.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have been committed to for 15 years are my kids. You guys are
We met
awesome.
on MySpace.
You met on MySpace?
MySpace love trying to find a date.
What was it the top 8? Top 6?
But
I don't even think we were friends. I just gave him my number.
because
He
back
messaged
then,
me and I was like, here's my number.
we did things like that back then. It wasn't like it is today.
It was a different time.
That's
Especially
crazy.
because I had to pay like 50 cents to use the computer and I was not going to continue to pay 50 cents to message him back and forth. Like, so I'm like, well, here's my number. Like, just message me.
Call me
what
after
state-
9.
Yeah. What state did you guys live in, though?
Oh, shit.
What states did you guys live in?
I lived in California.
Okay.
And I was in Arizona transitioning back to California. We're originally both from California, though.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I
But
did not know that.
okay, but you guys now reside in Arizona.
Arizona.
Nice. And that's where you guys like it. That's where you guys are staying. That's where you raised your daughter, correct?
Yeah, for the majority. For a majority of the time. We owned a home in Long Beach for a couple of years, and we lived out there for a while. And then my mom got sick with breast cancer. When my mom got sick, we sold our home in Long Beach, and we packed it up and moved out here to Arizona to be with her.
Oh,
wow.
that's awesome. That's really good of you as a son. Really good.
Yeah, she's good now. She's cancer free, so
Yeah.
not that
Praise
yay.
God,
many years
praise God.
now.
That's-
She just got her clearance again. God, it's already going on almost 10, I think. Almost 10 years cancer free.
That's great. That's awesome.
She's a fighter. She's like, nope,
Yeah,
not today,
yeah,
Satan.
yes.
Not
I
happening.
actually went through her whole cancer thing. Like she was doing treatment and working the whole time. So I was like, damn, I don't know how you do it. I would have been laid up in bed like, help me. I don't feel good.
Ruben be like, you're fine. You're going to survive.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Get up and go. He fucking let me die over there in bed and shit.
How old is your daughter now?
She's 19. She'll be 20 this year in September.
Ooh.
How
Good month.
old was she when you two met on MySpace?
5? When we 5, 6? Well, when we met or when she met him?
Actually, both.
Because I didn't introduce her right away to him. That was like I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Dang, you're making me feel like a bad mom right now.
No, like to me, because you know what I mean? She had her dad, you know what I mean? It's different when you're a dad raising a girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't want her to feel like I was going to abandon her. I wasn't going to be in her life. I wanted to make sure she had consistency, and I was that.
And you wanted to make sure that was going to be there, that he was going to have that consistency.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so she's obviously felt that her whole life from you two.
Yeah.
So how long after you guys, what would be the word, started talking, dating, got together, whatever it is, did you meet her?
It would have probably been a year. It was probably a year before like I actually met her. Like, so we started talking on MySpace. Talked once, and then I gave him my number. He went to visit me in Cali twice. And then, like, I jumped on a Greyhound and came to Arizona.
I never came back.
And that whole time, Greyhound. And that whole time, like, I always wanted to meet her. Like, let me meet your daughter. And he'd be like, nope, it's too soon. It's too soon. You know, it wasn't until, like, we both headed back to California that he finally, like, in essence, started that transition, you know. And it was like, it took a while. You know, it wasn't all full force, you know. Of course, when we first met, we were just friends, you know. And the fact that we don't, what is it, PDA?
Yeah.
We don't do that, so we didn't really feel the need to tell her, like, oh, we're together. You know, I was just her friend, like his friend, I mean, sorry, you know.
If you go back to when you started dating, or you guys were, like, hanging out and doing all that, Ruben, what inside of you, like you said the consistency thing, but what made you so strong to know that I need to protect my daughter? Because a lot of women, and I'll say, like, I've never waited a year to hide somebody from my child. Like, I'm talking to you and I told you this on the phone. I was like, I feel like a bad mom. Like for you
like
to do
me
that.
Personally, I think what it is when you're like a single parent and you're all they really know at that moment, it's like, you want to make sure you're going to fill out who you're going to be with. You know what I mean? Because our kids don't sign up to be in a relationship. Right. They're exposed to whatever we're exposing them to.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that he was going to be stable within his recovery and his self before I brought her around, because she didn't sign up to be in a relationship with anybody. That's my choice as her father. So I wanted to make sure that she was going to be good all around.
And that's one thing I remember, because you were going through a transition as yourself, right? Headed like from when you guys first met, right?
Yeah, so that was the thing. It wasn't only just like recovery, right? It was like mental health as well, you know? So like when we first got together, he was like, you need to get clean. You need to stay clean. You know, like, I can't be with you. I always joke around and I'm like, brought me to recovery, right? Like that good, you know. But he set those boundaries, like, I'm not gonna have you around my daughter, you know. And I was completely unstable. I went from using every single day to stopping abruptly, you know. And I would have like these little relapses. And when I would do shit like that, like I would engage in like crazy, you know, I hate to say it, like even self-harming and domestic violence behavior, right? So of course, like, he did what he needed to do in order to not expose our kid to that. You know, like, there was no way and I don't fault him. Like, put it like this, I wouldn't be with me now, right? Like, where I'm at in life, where I'm at, like, and how far I've grown, I would never put up with the stuff he put up with me. Like, absolutely not, you know? So, like, I always give him credit for that. You know, he was the one that took me to my first 12-step meeting. He's like, go in that room, you know, and I went in the room, you know, because I was like, damn, like, if I really want, and I always say, like, I came to the rooms for the wrong reasons, but I stayed for the right one, right? Like, I started getting clean for the wrong reasons, you know, and eventually, like, I started liking it, you know, I started liking the changes I was seeing in my life, you know.
But do you think that you just needed somebody to support you, to be behind you, to
a strong-willed person?
But like he said, though, security, what he showed his daughter is he's showing this man, like, you could do this, let's go. Someone to,
you know what? Yes. To be honest with you, like, so, and that was the thing, that was what drew me to him, right? Like, when we first met, it wasn't physical right off the top. Like, there was just just the way he carried himself, you know. He calls it game, you know, but like
Ruben had game.
You feel like, Yeah, he did. You know, he made me feel safe. You know what I mean? Safe. It wasn't like I joke around. It wasn't bam bam. Thank you, man. It was like there was something about the way like he embraced me almost, right? Like and like I hadn't felt that in a very long time, if ever. You know, everybody in the past it was just like boom boom and go on your way. You know, and with him, I felt love, and I hadn't felt love in a very long time.
And his love was genuine.
Not me getting emotional. I'm like, mi corazón.
How old were you, Ruben, when you had your daughter?
I was 17.
So how old were you guys when you guys met?
I was about to be 20.
Early 20s?
I was about
because I'm 2 years older than him.
So I was about to be 20. We were still kids. I think at 20, you're still a fucking kid mentally.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
So you guys are the real ride or die. Let's do this.
Yeah. We were 20. So I was 20. You were
22.
22.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old do you think your daughter was when she put 2 and 2 together?
Oh, I still remember. I think she was 12 or 13.
Yeah. She was almost 13 years old.
Yeah.
So like we wouldn't sleep in the same bed together. We had like this big 3,600 square foot home, and it was just me, him, and we had 3 dogs at the time, or 4. And the master bedroom is downstairs, and all of the other bedrooms were upstairs.
Okay.
So when it was bedtime, I would go have her shower. I would go get her dressed for the night, and then I'd lay in bed with her till she fell asleep. And then I would go downstairs every night and lay with him for a while, and then basically kind of put him to bed as well. And then I would go back upstairs and be with my daughter. So when she woke up every morning, she was with me.
So when you woke up, Ruben, were you like, these damn kids? Got
yeah, pretty much. It's still saying that.
And I got a dog too. No kidding.
Oh, shit. And you know, like, and I still remember because she told me, like, me and her were having lunch, and I was in the middle of biting food, and she's like, you know, I know, right? And I'm like, know what? And I'm like chewing, and she's like, Dad, you and my dad are together. And I was like I choked, and I was like I started sweating, like it was so weird, right? And I'm like, how long have you known? She's like, I've known for a while already. And I'm like, how do you feel about it? She's like, I don't care. She's like, you're my dad. He's my dad. Like, it doesn't make a difference. And then I'm like, why didn't you tell your dad? Like, why did you tell me? And she's like, because you know he's extra and we've been dramatic and stuff.
And you're the extra one.
So I'm all texting Ruben. I'm like, babe, Mia just told me da-da-da-da-da. And when we got home, me and her, we sat down and we're like, nothing's gonna change. Like, we still don't like each other, you know. Yeah. Like, we're still, you know. But yeah, it was almost like after that happened, we didn't need to hide anymore. In a sense, like, I don't know. It wasn't. Now, like, I can call him babe. Yeah.
Was it kind of like a sigh of relief?
Shit like that. But even after that, he continued to sleep in the same bed with her till about, God, for another year, maybe?
No, until she was about 13.
She's like, Dad, did you just put that out there?
Well, I was very overprotective of her.
Right.
Rightfully so. Right. And I want to applaud you in that, because a lot of women, single, married, and I don't think men really think about that, but mainly I say women because we're moms, don't protect their kids enough. They don't protect their kids from their boyfriends, from their husbands. So I really want to applaud you for doing that. Like, she is so blessed. And that was kind of what got me to inbox you guys, because somebody had left such a negative comment on your thing. And this past Father's Day, I sent my kids a text and I was like, so where's your daddy's at? You two do so much for that girl. It's amazing. And I hope that you don't ever let any of those negative comments ever affect your everyday lives. Because I just
think, no, I don't even have social media. He's the one that's on social media. To me, if you don't have my phone number and we don't communicate regularly, then I don't really need to talk to you.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. You can't be like that though, huh, Hedda? You're like, no.
Nah, I like to talk shit. Like, I really do, you know. And the comments don't really faze me in essence, because I'm like, how are you living? Like, what are you exposing your kids to? Like, we did an amazing job, you know, or a great job, or the best we can, you know. And we're still doing it, right? Like, I'm not worried about what's going on in your household. Like, I can give two fucks. Do you guys cuss? I don't know if you guys cuss. I cuss.
You could
I don't know
cuss.
if we can
Okay.
on the podcast, but like I could care less, right? Like what other people are doing, you know?
Yeah.
And because of like the shit that I had been through as a kid too, I was also very protective with her in essence to where like I made sure she felt secure, right? Like we when we first got together, we lived in a one bedroom a studio apartment that we went to a one bedroom, you know, but like the moment she would come out the room like to change or whatever, I would either turn the other way, I would leave the room or go outside so that she knew that no other man, regardless of the situation, was supposed to look at her as she was changing, you know, like I taught her those things as well, you know, because I think sometimes, you know, people are too trusting, right? Like you're too trusting, you know, like we'd be swimming and I'd be like, the moment she got out, I'd be like, cover yourself. And you'd be like, why? I'm like, because you're just walking around in the bathing suit, just, you know, and she'd get frustrated. I think now she understands, you know, I just don't trust nobody. Like my trust.
It's hard to trust anybody, especially with your kids.
Well,
So
I see a lot of parents who, I see a lot of girls that wear two pieces, but they're like full two pieces. So they're cute two pieces, you know.
yeah.
But I see a lot of these younger girls wearing basically thongs to the beach in their bathing suits, and I'm like, and the dads are fine with that. The moms think like, oh, they're cute, it's a little mini me, and I'm like, your daughter's 13, your daughter's 15, your daughter's 16. And
Yeah,
I know.
So the fact
Absolutely,
that
absolutely not. And they have a pool in our backyard, and we don't.
Yeah.
We don't allow that still.
see, and the fact that you guys recognize that is amazing, and I'm really triggering like on you guys being amazing parents because that was the comment that bothered me the most. And being a single mom, and I'm that type of a parent in a lot of your ways, and my kids didn't understand it until later. But when I sat on that phone with you guys that hour and a half and I hung up, I really had to reevaluate some of the decisions that I made. And I was like, damn, Ruben, I feel a little bad right now. But the fact that nobody...
Well, I wasn't always, you know what I mean? I wasn't always a great person or a great dad. I had her young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, of course, I've made mistakes growing up. We were kids. We were growing up together. But
Yeah.
I just, you know what I mean? I needed to be both mom and dad in an essence because she was with me full time. You know what I mean?
But mom
So regardless if she had that relationship with her mom, I was still playing both roles.
Yeah.
And mom is still involved, though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
actively involved. That's great. To allow that.
And how old is she now?
Our daughter,
Mm-hmm.
19.
she's 19. She'll be 20.
Does she live at home still?
Yeah. She's a full-time student right now looking for work.
So she still deals with you two every day.
Yep.
She just tunes us out. She just tunes us out. Like she'll be like, she just rolls her eyes. You know, and like so it's funny because I mean that, right? Like she's always gonna prioritize him, but like over time it has switched. Cause before, of course, she would take his side all the time. Now she's at a place in her life or level of maturity where she'll be like, no, you started it or you started it, because we'll start going back and forth, you know. So she'll let us know who was like in the wrong. I'm like, Mia, who did it? And she's like, well, he reacted to what you said. I'm like, no, like that's not the answer I wanted. But
I'm going to ask you one more time. I'm going to ask you one more time.
So are you guys in essence like, you guys are in essence like best friends? Like when people look at you, because you guys, like you said, you don't do PDA, because I always say that my daughter and her wife, like I don't look at them as being gay. Just they're almost like sisters because they're best friends. Like they found their person for the rest of their life. Good, bad, or indifferent, there's no out. It's just us, and that's how it is. And I think
I can never see me starting over. Like, fuck. Can you imagine like having to meet someone new and like deal like no.
And tell them all your deep, dark secrets, and this is what happened, and this is why I'm like this, and it wasn't.
I'm telling you, I stick by what I said. I would not deal with someone like me. So I live in like, that's it. I'm spending the rest of it. That's it. We're stuck.
That's it. We're stuck.
Yeah, like that's it. We ain't going nowhere. Like,
Ruben, it wasn't hard for you when you got with him, not knowing what direction he was going to go in?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know what direction he was going to go in. I don't know. I'm very intuitive. So like when I meet people, I can like feel like what type of people they are. You know what I mean? And I knew that he had potential. Regardless of what struggles he was going through at that moment, I didn't know his life. You know what I mean? It took me a while to get to know him and things that happened in his life. So, but I automatically felt like he had potential. Yeah. And I wanted to see where it would go.
Hedda, do you want to talk about any of the struggles you had in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I do it all on social media. So I shared with you, at an early age, I was molested by my older brother. Like that was my first abuser, and then that happened for a few years. My mom left, and my grandmother raised me. My grandmother was like heavily involved in the church. So we would be in the church like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And unfortunately, in the church, I was molested by a priest. Oh. And it really messed up my view on religion, like 100%. It messed up my view on God for a long time, That has changed over time. Like now I believe in God 100%. Amen. I just don't believe in organized religion. And that's okay, right? Like, because I know that for an addict like me, and I say an addict like me because there's so much power in admitting that I have a problem, right? The moment I stop thinking I have a problem, like I set myself up, and like I wouldn't be where I'm at today in life if it wasn't for God working in my life. Like I am extremely fucking grateful. The system lets you down, right? Like when my mom found out about the abuse with my brother, like she casted him away and told him like, forget you have a mom and forget you have brothers. So wow. I have to say, like, my mom had my back 100%, right? And that's like
rare.
She in essence,
that is very rare.
Very rare. Because I've talked about this and people have reached out and they were like, well, at least your mom believed you. My mom didn't believe me and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, like that must be a shitty feeling, but my mom believed me and I'll give her that. I'll give her that. And she supported me and she didn't question me. She didn't ask me. She didn't ask details. I think deep down in her heart, she knew that wasn't something someone makes up, you know? And then when the abuse with the priest came out, I wasn't even going to testify. Like I wasn't even going to be like involved whatsoever. I was too busy getting high. And they got me to testify. And that's why I say the system is so screwed up, right? Because he got 5 years, did 3, and they deported him to Colombia.
And you weren't the only one, correct?
And I honestly feel like he's out there being a priest, getting a hold of kids. I really do.
But you weren't the only one that happened to. There, he was other ones he got arrested for too, right?
Correct. So he got arrested for the other ones, and then they found me. Once they started investigating, they found that me, him, and my younger brother had been in a car accident. And in the police report, our names was on the police report. So, of course, it looks weird. Why is there a priest with 12, 13-year-old boys in a car? Like, there's no, And so that the church is just the church. I'm not going to badmouth them. And, I'll never knock anybody's beliefs. And I will tell you this, not all priests are bad. Like I've met I work for Father Greg Boyle from Homeboy Industries, and he's a priest, and he an amazing man, like 100%. There's just a few bad apples, I want to say.
There's a few bad apples in every bunch, right?
That part.
And unfortunately, you came across one. Do you think that what happened to you led to you abusing substances?
I don't know. I don't know if it led to me abusing substances, but it was a good enough reason to continue getting loaded for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. So when I first started I'll say this: the substances is what allowed me to stop the abuse. I remember for a long time, like I would just allow stuff to happen. And I remember when I first started smoking, he tried to do it, and that gave me the courage. Being under the influence gave me the courage to say no, don't effing touch me, and stay the F away from me, or I'm telling everybody. And that's when the abuse stopped. Wow. So it's almost like the substances gave me the voice that I didn't have for a long time, But I used that for a long time to continue getting high. If you had been through what I've been through, you'd be getting high too. And I roll my eyes now because when I say that, because he taught me, in essence, life is what you make it. He used to always tell me that. And I used to be like, bullshit. Like, life was chosen for me behind the stuff I went through as a kid. Now I understand life is what you make it.
Right.
I can continue to self-destruct over the things I went through, or I can have voice, build myself up, stay clean, and make something of myself.
Ruben, was it
Like,
hard
let's
for
make it.
you in the beginning when you guys got together and he just said that you would tell him this and he would say no? Was it hard for you to watch him put himself through
Yeah.
things and knowing what great of a person he is, he just isn't there yet?
Yeah, it was extremely hard because I've never dealt with an addict like that. You know, we would see him like at parties and family functions and stuff, but having to deal with that, I never had to deal with an addict. You know what I mean? So it was hard. It was difficult to watch, and which is why I pushed him to find recovery and to get his life together.
And now do you look at him and say, woohoo?
And set the ultimatum. Ultimately, he set the ultimatum. He's like, you know, they say ultimatums don't work, but in this situation it did. He was like, either you do this or we can't be together. That was
So
it.
do you think it was the ultimatum, or do you think it was true love? Because you said it wasn't a wham bam, thank you. Like you guys didn't even really get physical at first. You already had that connection. So do you think maybe it was true love that was what got you to be clean?
Yeah, so
Ruben's all, you better answer
I think
that
it was
wisely.
a little of both. I think we loved each other, but I don't think it was like that intense to where it was like, you know what I mean? He's gonna stop, because he struggled for a while.
Yeah, like I would, like
Yeah,
I
I
would
bet it
relapse.
wasn't easy.
I would drink, you know, to piss him. That was the crazy part, right? So like when we would fight, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna get fucked up to get
you're
him
being
mad, because
toxic.
it would piss him off.
You're
you
being
know?
super toxic.
Well,
Hell
he,
yeah.
well, he
And,
is toxic.
we were bad. We were bad. Like, I mean, we even had to split up for about 3 months, you know, to like kind of find ourselves, you know. But the one thing I can't lose is my recovery. And throughout that period of time that we were separated, like I still stayed clean. I know that as long as I stay clean, everything else in my life will work out. The moment I put substances in my body, it's all over. You know, and I say clean and sober because like I don't drink, I don't smoke weed, I don't do nothing, you know, other than drink a lot of coffee.
So I'm going to ask
Coffee
you
and
the
chaos.
There you go,
Coffee
right?
That's why we're here. I'm going to ask you the question, since you said toxic, Tony, that I asked them on the phone. And I thought I was going to get a way different response. And I said, you both, from a straight woman, are very handsome men. Do you get hit on by men and women? And how do you guys handle that? And look at his face. He was like, I am toxic. You're not touching my man. Do not come near him.
I think it depends on the situation. It depends on how bold people are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it depends on if I've had a couple of drinks.
Like we don't do the LGBTQ plus, I guess it's now, you know, scene at all. Like I'd rather go to a straight spot any day, you know, and just have a good time. I like to dance and get ratchet. But yeah, I'm all about respect, right? All about respect. Like, don't come and touch me. Don't touch my man. Like, that's a whole.
That's all.
People are too antsy. Like, look at me shaking my head. I'm already twitching. Thinking about it. Like,
way to go, Alina.
The pimples are jumping out. Like, I just like. People like to touch when you're out in public, you know, and like you're not.
Women do too.
Yes.
Yes. And they think probably if they know that you're gay, it's okay to go touch you because what's the big deal? And look,
I mean, like, no, run me some cash. Like, don't touch me. Like, better hit that cash app real quick.
I love it.
That is so funny. I don't think that's toxic. I think that that's a level of respect, right?
I think that's what it is.
And people
it's
have
all about
lost,
respect.
But people have lost that today. People don't even know what that word means anymore. How old were the two of you when you came out to your families? Like, hey, this is who I am. This is what it is. And were they accepting of you guys? Because you come from Latino families, Hispanic families, however you want to call it. And usually they're not okay with that.
Yeah, so for me, I was an adult already.
Okay.
I was already had my daughter. She was a couple of years old. Is when I came out. And no, they weren't accepting of it at first. They weren't accepting of our relationship at first. I think they thought for a long time it was just a phase that I would go through and it would be done. And it wasn't a phase. That's who I was.
That's who you are.
Now they love them.
Aw.
Now they love us. But yeah, for a long time, no. For a couple of years, I want to say, what was it, about 4 years?
Yeah, the first
4 to 5 years.
the first 3 to 4 years of our relationship. Like, so that's what I love about him. And I love, like, my family, they're selfish and, you know, to each their own. They're out for themselves. I love his family. They're very family oriented. I mean, Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, like they all come together. And like, I always wanted to be a part of that because I never had that in my family. But for the first, 3 years of our relationship, I mean, he was like, babe, I'm gonna go with my family. So I would spend the holidays alone in our like apartment in Hawthorne at the time, which is why I got a dog, and the dog kept me company. And, it was hard. I think when we purchased, I feel in my head that when we purchased our first home in Long Beach, that's when they realized, okay, well, it's not a phase, and like his family's cool. They're solid. They're righteous. They talk a lot of shit, but who doesn't, right? And when they're needed, they come through, and unfortunately, I envy that because my family's not like that at all.
Ruben, you seem like you were the missing link in what he needed all along.
I think that was a part of
that missing puzzle piece.
I wanted to show him love. I wanted to show him something different. You know what I mean? And we've built a beautiful family together. We've been through trials and tribulations. We've been through a lot of shit. But here we are 15 years later. And I wouldn't do this with anyone else.
And you guys are kind of like what is that saying? The yin to the yang?
Yeah. The yin
you guys
to the yang.
literally
we're opposites.
Oil and water.
Oil and water.
But that's what makes it work, I think.
Really?
I wouldn't want to be with somebody who's exactly like me.
Right.
Yeah, because you would
be bumping heads too much.
And if he had someone like him, they would probably be getting phone calls from the police every night, like, come get them. It's loud over there.
And for me coming out, I grew up in downtown LA, like Pico Union. So I had a single mother, 4 brothers, right? And I still remember when I came out to my mom. Like, I was 15 and I was like, Mom, walk me to school. And she was like, for what? Like, you're 15. What is your problem? And I'm like, just walk me to school. So she walks me to school. And the whole way up there, I kept telling her, Mom, I have to tell you something. She's like, what? I'm like, nothing. And I told her that probably like 6 times. And then when we were getting to the school, as we're at the front door, I'm like, Mom, I'm bisexual. And she looked at me and I just walked in. Didn't give her time to say nothing. I was like, I didn't even try to hear it. I just walked into school.
I would have chased you down the hallway. What do you mean?
But you know what was crazy? I got out of school and she was standing there. She was standing, she walked, because we never had a car. Like, we had Metro passes, the bus, And she was standing there and we walked back home and she was like, Hera, I love you. You will always be my son. And all I have to tell you is to always use protection, she said, and know that if you were to ever get sick, I would take care of you. And I was like, yo, shut up. Why would you say that?
Why are you like that for? That bad juju.
Let me tell you something. Now that I'm an adult, I see how powerful that statement is. For a long time, people viewed HIV and stuff like that as a gay disease. And when that came out, it was around my mom's time and people were casting their families away, So I'm grateful. My mom instilled that fear in me. Always use protection, and I did. And I'm safe, But
she's like, and I'm clean.
Yeah, that part right there. It was like, ask him, like, I was like so petrified till this day. Like, I'm just like, ugh, And when my mom told me that, I walked into the apartment and I looked at my brother. So watch this. I came out as bi to my mom. Right. So I walk into the apartment and I look at all my brothers and I'm like, hey, They're like, what? They're all playing video games. And I'm like, I'm gay. And they're
I
like,
caught
they
that
just
when you
look
were.
at me. They look at me and they're like, okay. And they continue playing. Like my brothers are gang affiliated, like a motherfucker. And
Oh, okay.
they did not care. They did not care. Of course, like when we would fight, they would call me every name in the book. Like, oh, and I'd be like, how does it feel to have a gay brother? They used to get so mad. But they always had my back when they came, in the streets. Like if someone called me out of my name, it was on and cracking. It was like they can do it, but nobody else could.
Earlier, you said that your grandma, did the majority of your raising, but it sounds like when you needed your mom the most two important times in your life, she was there for you.
That part, right? So like my grandmother raised me from when I was 8 to about 15. Because my mom took off with my brothers to Mexico and left me with my grandmother. When my mom came back, my mom came back when I was about 14, and it was because my grandmother was dying. She had developed lung cancer, and she struggled, and she had surgeries, and she passed away after the surgeries. Like the cancer spread, and that's why I kind of like there's a lot of like, in essence, like a lot of hurt when it comes to my family, right? And that's why I speak the way I speak. Like I don't wish them bad, and I wish them the best, but like I'm never gonna forget the scars that they have left, right? Like there was no reason why my aunt had a 4-bedroom house in LA, but I was sleeping in strangers' houses while my grandmother was having surgery.
Oh.
Like I was sleeping with strangers, people from the church, and I remember I used to say, like, why can't I go with my tia? Why can't I go with my cousins? Because nobody wanted to step up, and I'm not casting blame on everything, because if anything, they can be like, well, you could have gone with your mom, but your mom was in Mexico, so, but it's all those experiences that made me who I am today, right? Like, I know I have a good fucking heart, and even though they were the way they are, like when they needed me, I still showed up.
Yeah.
Right.
I still gave, and I'm still the bad guy for some reason.
And does that make you the parent that you are to your daughter because you want to give her what you didn't have?
Hell yeah. Like I want her to experience like all the things we didn't get to experience, right? Because we didn't, like I didn't have nothing.
The things that I was lacking as a kid, that's what I try to do for her now, which is why, like, I don't know, that I've always been overprotective. My mom always took care of us. She always took care of us. She was never a bad mom. My dad was always there. He used drugs and alcohol from time to time, but my mom was always protective of us. She always took care of us. So that's what I seen growing up. But we didn't get a lot of love and affection. It was never like, I love you, you're beautiful, hugs. And our love language in my family has always been talking shit to one another. And that's how we are to
That's
this
a
day.
Latino thing.
I was gonna say, do you think that's a Latino thing? Or do you think that was a whole generation at that time?
That's a toxic shit.
I don't know. It might be a little of both. You know what I mean? It might be how they were raised.
Yeah.
And it might just be a cultural thing.
Yeah.
But that's what I experienced. That's why I make sure my kid knows she's loved all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I've always told her she's beautiful, still to this day. I still treat her like a baby, and she's 19.
But
she wasn't feeling good last night. I went in there. He served her ice water because she wasn't feeling good. I went in there with medication, gave her a kiss on her head, took her dog, told her, let me know if you need anything.
You should never stop that, no matter how old she is. Believe me, you as a woman, my dad is schizophrenic, so he can't, but I know that if he could, he would be. So from a woman's point of view, always be the dad that you are. Don't ever change that. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. Little girls, grown women always need their dads. And if we had more dads like the two of you, gay or not, I don't care, women would have less daddy issues. Women would not allow men. I say when you get hit the first or the second time, okay, right? But if you continue to let this man beat you continuously, that's not normal. Like you have to either like it or something, or you have major daddy issues. But when you have a father in your life and you go say, hey, dad, he hit me, your dad's like, excuse me, where, what, how? And that doesn't happen usually again. So don't ever stop being, let her be a daddy's girl forever.
That part. And I just hope that as she gets older, she uses how he treated her, and how I treated her as an example on how she allows other people to treat her.
Absolutely.
Right?
Amen.
Like, I hope that she never allows anybody to disrespect her. I hope she never settles for less. I hope she knows that she deserves everything in the world.
Yeah. I have a question, and it's kind of I think it would be a little bit of a hard question, and I don't know, so I'm asking. Is being sober and staying sober, is that an everyday battle? Because I hear people saying it is. I'm not in recovery, so I don't know. And Ruben, do you ever get nervous or scared or worried? I don't know what the correct word is, that he could relapse.
Do you want to go first?
You go first.
I do get scared because I know that it's a disease, right? I know that it's not something, well, he can control, but to me, I feel like it's almost like a disease. You know what I mean? It could take him out.
Right.
I do worry, but in the very beginning of his recovery, I stopped drinking. Like, I don't smoke weed, I don't smoke cigarettes, I don't do any substances, but I like to drink. And there's a time and a place for everything. So, like, I like to drink on the weekends, and he understands that. But I stopped drinking around him for the whole year that he started to get clean, so that it was easier for him.
That's awesome.
So I will say, like, it's a daily choice, right? Because using is a choice at this point. I've been clean long enough to know that there's things I must do to not get loaded. And those things are like go to meetings, work steps, be of service, help others, build a relationship with a higher power. If people that listen to this are programming, then they know what the hell I'm talking about, right? Those are all indications of a 12-step program. The moment I stop doing those things, I set myself up for a relapse. Losing my dog got me in a very dark place these last few days, right? Where, like, I was having very, very dark thoughts, and I just plugged myself in, right? I started going to more meetings, and I talked about those feelings, and I talked about those thoughts, but I'm never gonna be able to use successfully or successfully, right? There's no such thing as just one. Like, I trip out when he's drinking with his friends and family, because, like, I would have been blacked out drunk by then, and then I would have been they're sipping, and I'm like, damn, and I would have been looking for the dope man. See, anytime that's how I am. Look, I had dental work done, right? So I've been clean. November will be 10 years.
I was just going to ask you that, how long you've been sober.
So, thank you. God willing, if I make it to November, it'll be 10 years, right? But I had dental work done, and they put me under. And in order to put me under, they put you under the influence, right? When I woke up, I didn't like how I was feeling, and I don't remember any of this. But my baby mama, I call her baby mama, his best friend. Baby mama recorded videos of me, and in the videos, I'm telling her, I don't feel good, I need a line. Like, that is why I don't drink, because my head always goes to that. And that was just off of dental work, right?
Right.
I always check how I'm feeling, because I love to dance and I love to get ratchet and I love to have a good time. But if I am in a bad headspace, I will not surround myself around people that are drinking. Right. And, like, even here, I like hanging out at the house. Sometimes when we go to his parents, we go in separate cars, because after a while, I'm like, cool, I'm going home. Like, I'm going to go lay down, be with my dogs, right? Like, I know when to remove myself. It's not so much because, like, I'm triggered. I check my how I'm feeling mentally and emotionally, right? And I think a lot of the times I'm like, I feel like they forget that I'm not at that level, I'm not sipping. So I'm just like, I'm going to go home, know? But I'm not cured. I'm not immune. Like, I can get loaded any day if I'm not careful and if I don't guard my recovery.
But you're so self-aware of that.
Yeah, I have to be, because my clean date changed 9 years ago, right? 9 years ago, because I stopped doing all those things. And I drank and smoked weed for 4 days straight. And it's just not what I wanted for myself. I like it. It wasn't cute. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't glamorous. Like, I was throwing up, and like, I really, really hated myself. And I learned a lot from that relapse, right?
From those 4 days, was Ruben by your side?
No, he
No.
left. He
He was
left.
like, you
Like
see
the,
I
Ruben's
was
face?
He's like, nope.
Ruben's like, nope.
Because if I was there, okay.
yeah, no, like when I relapsed, he grabbed Mia and they left to his parents' house. Like there was no way
Again,
he was.
how do you know how to do that as a single father? Because so many single mothers will not do that. They will stay with that guy and everything he's going through.
It's just my instinct to protect her as a father. You know what
You're
I mean? Like,
amazing, Ruben.
like I said in the beginning, like when you're signing up for a relationship, your kids aren't signing up for that bullshit.
Right.
You're signing up for that.
Yeah.
So what you want to subject yourself to, fine. We can do that all day by ourselves. But when it comes to my daughter, no.
That's
She
awesome.
doesn't deserve to see any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I removed her from the situation.
And I'm grateful for that because I can wholeheartedly say that she has never seen me loaded or under the influence.
And that is
right?
awesome.
And that is a good feeling. I was just telling him that even at 9 years, I've been clean and sober longer than I used. You know, so that within itself is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
That's
I started using young, but I also stopped young, if that makes sense. Like, but when I was using, like, I was running every single day. And I used to, like, when we first started talking on the phone, I would lie to him, like I would pretend to be asleep when he would call. I'd be like, hello, I just woke up to use the restroom, you know. Mind you, I'm like on one in East LA running the streets like a mess, you know.
Ruben's going to
And,
flick you pretty soon in the back of the head.
No, he knows all that.
I know all this stuff.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We're not perfect. We've been through a lot of shit. We've been through trials and tribulations. It's hard.
Like, I mean, it was bad initially. Like, I mean, we would fight like boxing. Like, I mean, and that's why we split up, right? Because it got so toxic. Like we were fighting people in the hood, like just trying to do damage, and we needed to split up for those 3 months. And then I think after those 3 months, like I realized, like, okay, well, my heart is with him and our kid, and we haven't put hands on each other, well, in that manner, in a negative manner.
Cochino.
In what?
Sucio.
9 years?
It'll be 9.
It'll be 9 years, you know. So it's been good.
That's good. Where is...
Not the thumbs up.
You've brought up God and faith and stuff a few times, and I'm a huge believer. I also have an issue with organized religion as you do. We were brought up in a Christian church, but we were told we were going to hell every time we did or said something
Same
wrong.
here.
So I believe I have all my faith is in Christ 100%. And you keep saying that you also believe. How do you handle people that say the obvious to you?
You know what? I will never, how can I put it? So I will never knock anybody else's beliefs. Whatever you believe in that keeps you on the right track, that whatever you believe that keeps you on the right track, by all means, like continue to go. Like if it's allowing you to like live your life right, then go for it. I will not knock the Bible. I will not do any of that. But don't shove your beliefs down my throat. You know what I mean? Like the things people tell me, oh, you're going to hell. I'm like, we're going to burn together then and I'm going to enjoy the ride. You know,
I'm driving the bus.
Like, I don't know. They tell me the same thing over and over. Like, and it's just people online on social media.
Yeah.
I get a lot of hate. We get a lot of hate on social media, but we also get a lot of love and support, right? Like a lot of people show us love. So a while ago, he wanted to go to church. He's like, babe, I want to go to mass. I was like, ooh, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, go. And he's like, so he went. And then he wanted to go again. And he's like, do you want to come? And I'm like, not really. And then he's like, I'll take you to eat breakfast. I said, okay, let's go. You know, and like, I will say this. I was sitting in the church and I did get a little emotional, right? Because I seen all the altar boys and I did that. I was an altar boy, right? Like, I mean, in the mass and all that stuff. And just because it was fucked up for me does not mean it's going to be messed up for other people, right?
Yeah.
So like I went and I supported. Was I paying attention? No, you know, because they were like, save us from the fires of hell. And I'm like, who? Not me. Like, I'm going to heaven. Like, I know my God's got me, right?
God does love you both.
I don't believe in a punishing God. Like, I don't believe in a God that hates and that, I just don't.
Have
The
you thought
God
about
I
going
believe
to
in loves me unconditionally, created us in his image and made us who we are. And
Yep.
to me, God don't make mistakes.
No,
So,
hey, bless you. Amen. Have you thought about going to a Christian church?
no. I don't like church.
Girl, can't you see
I
what he
don't
was
like
just
church.
saying? What he was
I was
expressing?
just asking because he
Oh,
went back
wait,
to
so-
mass.
I don't think you know this. So my friend was getting baptized, and I went to her baptism, and I went to this church down the street. I don't know what kind of church it was, but they played the Spartans like in their Bible message. The guy was like beefed up with a 6-pack. I'm like, oh, I like this church,
Ruben was like, let's go.
But no, the relationship I have with God works, right?
Amen.
And I don't want to dilute that because I feel like in church, I don't know.
We're supposed to have a one-on-one relationship with him. That's what it really is. And what I told my daughter when she came out at 16, I got you till the day you die. But if you ever turn your back on God because the outside family, the outside world tells you that Jesus doesn't love you, then I'm going to have a problem. Because believe me, my God, my Jesus that I believe in loves us all. And he wants us to win. He wants us to be good. And it really comes down to that one-on-one relationship that you have with him.
Yeah.
And I don't care what it says. He loves
like
us
for
all.
me, when everybody else is sleeping, right? And it's just me, and like I don't want to wake him up or whatever. I just talk to God. I'm like, look, you need to help me go to sleep because I'm having a hard time. My thoughts are going crazy. I'm like, just help me go to sleep. And before you know it, like I'm asleep. People are like, do you cuss when you talk to God? Hell yeah, I fucking cuss. I'll be like, God, I need your fucking help because I'm going crazy.
He knows who you are.
And I think that God, I don't think God is worried about me cussing. I think he's more emphasized on me living my life right, not drugging, not robbing, not committing crime, not being in jail. I think that's what God wants from me. I don't think my language is a big deal.
I don't think he could have said it any better.
Yeah,
Do you
you're
think,
right.
Tony?
No, absolutely.
Like you've completely
You're spot
said-
on that.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, we're going to kind of start to close it up. Do you have any last questions you want to
Nothing,
ask?
man. I just freaking watching his story and
I know.
watching you guys and watching you on live on TikTok. It's like you guys are amazing. You guys are freaking funny.
You guys are.
Thank you.
Ruben,
Yeah.
I have to thank you
Yeah.
so much because I know you're more the shy one, more of the quiet one.
I am.
Yeah, I'll just let him have the spotlight.
Even when he wants to go live and stuff, I'm like,
I know all we hear is just Ruben in the background. We just hear him off the camera.
I was on a live once with them and they're at the pool and he had to go do something. So Ruben's holding the phone. And at one point, Ruben's like, come back. Like, what do you would like?
That's how I get.
He's like, I don't know what
What do I do?
We were talking about the podcast today, right? And I'm like, hey, you better not be on camera and be like, hi guys.
And I agreed to come on because he has a story. My story's not his. Like I don't have like trauma like that as a kid. And thing that I went through like that as a kid. I went through normal shit like as a kid, you know what I mean? That probably a lot of people go through. Your parents are fighting, shit like that. Like,
Right.
I went through those things, but like trauma and stuff, he has a very good story. And we all have a story, but mine's is not his story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But I think having a kid at
he has more of a story.
17.
But you have a story,
Yeah.
right? Like the story of your life.
I need to come on because if there's one thing that I'm doing right, it's being a good father.
Right.
You are. You're
Absolutely.
being an amazing father.
And I commend you on that.
Thank you.
So you gotta get on TikTok more now. We're gonna.
I tell him, but you don't be wanting to.
All right, we're gonna make him an account. He's not gonna know about it yet.
Like,
You know-
oh my God.
Your story, Ruben, honestly, like having a kid so young and being the parent that you are, that is amazing. Like that's hard work. Like you protecting your daughter, you making sure that you didn't bring guys in and out of the house. There wasn't a revolving door. That at night when she went to bed, some monster didn't crawl in her bed with her. Like that is your story, and that is an amazing story. And that's something that you should share because again, I know women are gonna get me mad at me, but like women need to hear that. Women need to know we protect our kids more so than the dads because they're our babies. They came from us. And we don't protect them enough. And the fact that you remind me of my sister's dad, who I also call dad. He protected us and he protected my sister. He protected me as much as he could. when I was with him, but he protected my sister. And that's a lot of who you remind me of, the fact that nobody and nothing was going to come between him and his daughter. And I feel like that's amazing. And you do have a story and you do need to tell it more, because people need to learn. People need to see it's not okay to hurt little kids. It's okay to say, my daughter's not spending the night at your house. I don't know who you are. I don't know who your husband is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And when Seth was younger and I didn't let him spend the night, he could not understand. And I was like, nope, you're not going to. I don't know if the dad gets drunk and beats his wife or what he does, you know? So now that he's older, now he understands. My daughter, now that she's older, understands. But I was that parent, like, you're not just sleeping anywhere. So you do have a story. And thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you guys for having us.
I really appreciated it. And I know that you guys did it after a few days of hard times. So I really appreciate that very much.
Yeah, we went back and forth for a little bit, and I was like, do you want to do it? Like, maybe it'll get us out of ourselves, out of the headspace. You know, like losing a dog of 13 years that he literally ripped the sack so she could breathe, you know, was hard, right?
Yeah.
And but like I said, like I told you when I was like, she's finally home. You know, we got her ashes, got the tattoos. Like, I feel more comfortable, more at peace now.
Yeah.
You know, like you can start to heal. And then I still want another one.
He's like, what?
Ruben's all, no.
You know, but yeah.
Like we said,
thank you guys though for taking the time. I know it's not convenient to do it virtually and stuff, but I appreciate you.
Hey, but we made it work. We made it work.
I was like, so when Tony was like, wait, they're back on, I was like, I work on Saturday now. I gotta get ready at work, and I came here, I had to do my makeup, do all my things. I was like, we're doing this. It's gonna
be good. Yeah, we were just like, if you guys want to do it, we can do it. You know, so thank you guys for having us.
Yeah,
thank you.
We appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys. And I will definitely list your guys' TikTok and Instagram and everything. This will be on YouTube. Please have your friends watch it, share everything. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and it comes out next Thursday. What is the date on next Thursday? It is.
Oh, do the trumpet on her because she's using her phone.
On the 27th. I had to pull the date.
Yeah.
There you go.
June 27th.
Yeah, June 27th.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a nice night.
We'll be tagging you on TikTok and Instagram as well.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
No, they.
So what, are you going to end the show or?
Oh, we're not done?
No. Put your mic back up.
Say goodbye. So all of our viewers that are listening,
It just shows how raw it is right now. Hell yeah, that was great.
Well, wait, before you go, let's talk a little bit. We got a minute.
Yeah, you were quiet, Solomon.
Well, I mean, because they're doing a good interview.
They did really good.
And
and Ruben talked. I was hoping he would. I was hoping he'd feel comfortable enough to talk, and he did. And I commend him so much as a father, like a single father, like raising his daughter. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And they're great together. They, like you said, that Ruben was his missing piece.
They're like #my goals. I want a guy like that. Like, I don't know which one I want, but like I want all of that in a package.
A mixture of that for Pablo.
Yes. I'm like, because they're together no matter what. Lose money, gain money, you know, this or that, like whatever it is.
I got you type of deal.
And surprisingly,
that's that 80-20 or 60-40.
What were you going to say?
I say surprisingly, you know, when you have problems like that early on in a relationship, I mean, typically those things don't last, you know. And the fact that Ruben stood by him as he was going through recovery, and that's one of those things where you just know you never know when it's going to end. You've got a kid to protect. You know, you're trying to support this person. There's a lot going on, so I commend him.
But I feel like he just needed somebody, which I say, it's okay to need somebody. It's okay to say, this person helped me get through this. It's okay. Like, people always try to act like, I don't need nobody. Like, that's why I always say, like, I don't say I don't need a man. I definitely need one. I just don't happen to have one, right? Like, everybody needs somebody for whatever reason. And I think that they happen to find each other. And I will say that it was God that brought them together for whatever reason. And, you know, they became stronger together.
Oh yeah, totally. You could tell like they're just so meant for each other.
Yeah,
You could tell.
and but to I don't know if I could go to mass after that happened to me.
Yeah, I would think that, like he said,
That's
I would
why I
think just
said a Christian
triggers.
church. That's
Yeah.
why I said a Christian church. Because I was like, why not go to like why go back to Applebee's if like you got burned? I'd go to like Hoff's Hut or something. I wouldn't go back to Applebee's.
Hoff's Hut. Why Hoff's Hut and Applebee's?
Don't be dissing Applebee's.
And don't be
That's my worst case scenario.
right. And Hoff's Hut.
Chili's would be my worst case scenario.
Well, I love Chili's too. Wait, I love Chili's. And I love Applebee's and I love Hoff's Hut. Am I old already?
Yes.
What do you like at Applebee's?
I can't tell you because you're going to make fun of me.
No. Tell us, please.
The steak and the mac and cheese.
Mm.
I am
coming from someone that still likes Sizzler.
I don't knock Sizzler. I am
Okay,
a very
wait.
simple woman.
You're about to get kicked out of the studio if you tell you like Sizzler.
Oh, I love Sizzler is like one of
Solomon,
my top
real
2
quick.
places.
Before we
Okay.
end it, like
That's for Sizzler. But go
she
on.
called me. She sent me a picture one time when she was out, and she sent a picture of a place that of Sizzler on the side of the freeway.
Mm.
She had to go with my sister. You guys were on your way back from Palm Springs. That's right.
Okay, so I was driving with Tracy and we're driving to Palm Springs because the Sizzler where we're at in Pedro, there was one in like
Western.
Lomita. Well, there wasn't Pedro.
Oh, the one off of PCH.
So the one in Pedro first closed and then one in Lomita closed. So I told Tracy, I don't care. When we come back home on Sunday, we're stopping at Sizzler. And your sister Regina was like, no, we're not. I was like, oh, we are. And on the way back, we stopped at Sizzler. And then your sister ended up stopping with us. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad we stopped. Well, when I went to Indio a few weeks ago, remember with all the kids and everything? When we were driving there, I told my nephew, don't eat because I'm stopping at Sizzler. I told Gia, and Gia's like, oh my God, Sizzler's ghetto. I was like, well, then you could starve. Oh, we all ate. My mom and Marianne were shopping at the outlets. They came and joined us. Oh, we all ate at Sizzler.
I just remember as a kid just wanting to go for the Sunday. The swirl.
I love the bread.
So would you prefer Sizzler or Outback?
Outback.
Is that it? Oh.
Outback Steakhouse.
Ever had Outback?
Yeah, but
Oh.
Sizzler.
Oh, so you prefer Sizzler over
Oh, yeah.
Outback?
I prefer Sizzler.
Oh, God.
But I would prefer Sizzler if you say, let's go to like 555. I think it's just because Sizzler is, for me, it's like,
Comfy?
it's comfy, it's easy. Like,
Mm.
I know what I'm getting. I don't have to
Mm.
deal with anything or
I'd rather
worry
go to
about anything.
Goofy's Kitchen
What's good?
than Sizzler.
Yeah.
All right. So we can end the show now.
Yeah, because we totally went off on a totally. All
Right.
I was saying was I don't know if I would go back to mass. I would go like I'd walk in and be like feeling like spirits or something
Yeah,
in there. I'd be like,
triggers.
yeah, I'd be like, no. But even in him, like everything that he's been through, like to be so happy on life, excuse me, and to say like every day is a choice. Like you have to like I wake up and I choose to be happy 6 out of 7 days because there's one day where
I want to.
you know you're not going to win it every day.
Well, I gotta laugh how he knew the show well enough to say, "Give her the horn. She used her phone."
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, well, I was just looking at the date to tell them what date it was going to come out
That's
on.
funny.
Mm.
I just think they're awesome. I like, and honestly, them being gay has nothing to do with it. I just love who they are as human beings. Like
Yeah.
they're funny, they're honest, they're open, and again, just the parenting skills is amazing. That is like my biggest thing because I'm such a crazy psycho mom. To know that there's other crazy psycho parents out there besides me makes me feel good.
Well, the number one ingredient to being a good parent is being there. Number one. Number
Yeah.
two is communication.
Yeah, that's that. I think that's where I faltered a lot was I didn't know how to communicate. It was like I was like a dictatorship. And then I realized that
I learned that with my kids.
Yeah.
Before and then now. More of like not listening what I don't care what they say. Well, I don't. I mean, I didn't. And now it's more or less like when I talk to my son, listening more.
you're seeing him more too.
Yeah. So working on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it all over you about that. I ain't letting you up on that. Yep.
Right
All
there.
righty. Well, thank you, Solomon. I appreciate you doing all this for us.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's my job, right? You know, there we go.
Until next time, thank you all so much for watching, listening, sharing. I truly, truly love all the text messages, the inbox, the shout outs. But for the love of God, if you don't go on YouTube and you do not comment, I'm going to punch someone in the face. Just saying. It might be Tony that I'm punching.
Yeah.
But
I was just thinking that right now. I'm like, come on, guys, can you please comment?
Yeah, if you don't comment, punching Tony live on the next
For every
podcast.
comment and text
no,
you guys.
everyone's going to say, I want to see you punch Tony and Tom. You and Stephanie, go. Punch them and see what happens.
Watch, 0 comments next show.
All right, thank you. Bye.